broken match, which is actually I'm getting a Facebook message. It's a normal match under normal rules here, with each Pokemon having Metronome. On the blue corner, we have Machoke, Raichu, and Jynx.
And for the red team, it's going to be Dugtrio, Electrode, and Mr. Mime.
Looking at this Metronome match, it's always interesting when we see Machoke and the family of that because of its no guard ability. However, Dugtrio does have an arena trap here, so switching is pretty not effective for the blue corner.
Yeah, so all moves will be hitting here from the first two Pokemon until either until the Machoke goes down. Dugtrio will have to switch out before blue corner can switch themselves.
And of course, usually with Metronome matches, switching usually doesn't take place unless something drastic happens, which of course, that can happen anytime since it's Twitch-based Pokemon.
Yeah, there are several moves that can prevent them from being able to use Metronome, including Disable, Torment, or Imprison, so we'll have to see how this one plays out here.
Minute 15 left, get those bets in. Odds are actually pretty even until that point right there. And now they're back even again. Wow.
Odds going back and forth on this one, keeping them pretty close. As we take a look at the items here, a couple of them are going to be useful, like Raichu's Shuckaberry could potentially be used along with Electrodes as well.
Will we have a Metronome move turning into the item throw move? I cannot remember what it is.
Natural Gift.
I believe that's what it is, where you just toss the item at the other person.
Well, there's Fling and Natural Gift. Fling, if you fling a berry, it's like base power 10, but if you Natural Gift a berry, it can be many different typings and variable powers.
And this tells how much I know.
However, Dugtrio does have a Pitaya berry there that does boost its special attack once it gets down to critical health.
30 seconds left. Actually, 20 seconds now. Get those last second bets in. All in. On the blue corner, we have a top better with $11,111. This is an all-in bet.
Feeling pretty confident on the Machoke, Raichu, and Jynx team over here. I've seen that Jynx do some pretty incredible things, so it'd be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Indeed. Our match is now underway here. Some pretty large all-in bets here on the blue corner. Here we go. It's Stage 8, Gerbara. For Hitman from Zero Wing at the Courtyard Coliseum. Will this match actually have some fog here?
Even if it does have fog, it will not matter with the Machoke out having the no guard ability.
Very true. No fog is in the Coliseum here. Machoke and Dugtrio. I wonder what move they're going to use.
What'll it be?
Oh, it looks like a Metronome turning into Glare. Ooh, that was a mean look. Oh, and it gets paralyzed. Machoke can't move due to that paralyzation there.
Very good first turn for the red team here.
Dugtrio getting the speed advantage here due to the paralyze as it uses Aeroblast.
And that's going to be super effective on this Machoke.
Machoke slaps itself and uses its wavy finger to use Hypnosis.
Alright, so Dugtrio's going to take a nap here as both Pokemon have status inflictions on themselves.
This match just got disabled, and it can't be switched out. So the blue corner kind of almost throwing themselves there. The Dugtrio can't move. Machoke can't move.
Wow, not much happened this turn.
Both corners still unable to pull off a move.
2 boring turns in a row. Let's see if something will happen this turn.
Red corner can't move. Blue corner able to pull off a move here. Metronome will turn into Sweet Scent.
That is kind of a move that will not be really effective here. Lowering its evasiveness, but with having the no guard, it didn't matter in the first place.
Still an even matchup. Both Pokemon still having status ailments. Dugtrio still takes a nap. Machoke able to pull off a move here with Metronome, which is going to turn into Guillotine! Guillotine!
Oh,
It's
wow!
over! It's out of there!
Oh, that was awesome! So with Guillotine doing massive damage, Dugtrio will faint.
And that's a grand slam by the blue corner. Red corner sending out their Mr. Mime next.
So with Machoke paralyzed, Mr. Mime looks to try to finish it off here before it can take any damage.
Mr. Mime goes for its Metronome, and that Metronome will turn into Scratch. Very solid hit there. Machoke down to critical health. Machoke can't pull off a move this turn.
Mr. Mime looking to use just about any move here to finish off this Machoke. Only the lowest of rolls on the smallest of hits will do it.
As Mr. Mime goes for Iron Defense, raising its defense by 2.
Mr. Mime having not very good defensive stats now gives it a nice decent boost, as Machoke will be probably going down within the next turn.
And it uses Bubble here. A very light hit on Mr. Mime. How does Bubble even work? How does that even do damage?
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure why it has a chance to slow you down.
Mr. Mime going for its Metronome once again here, as that Metronome from Mr. Mime turns into a power trick.
So with that defense boost there, it's actually going to be getting now an attack boost. Now, Mr. Mime essentially has a +2 in its attack.
And Machoke is going to use Trick Room here. This is some very Smogon match here, but this is actually turning out to be in favor of the blue corner now.
Yeah, with this Trick Room set up, Machoke will be faster than Mr. Mime and may potentially get an attack off. Unfortunately, will be fully paralyzed this turn.
And Mr. Mime goes for Air Slash. That's it. Down goes Machoke. The blue corner looking to now send in their Raichu. It's electric versus electric type here in the Coliseum. But as we know...
Mr. Mime is a psychic type?
I'm sorry, yes, I thought it was Electrode out for some reason. Mr. Mime using Conversion, how ironically.
now it's actually a normal type. So Raichu will now respond with a... what do we got here?
Psycho Cut!
So with Mr. Mime no longer a psychic Pokemon, that will hit for neutral effectiveness. However, Raichu does not get the critical hit.
Mr. Mime going for another Metronome here. The wagging hand decides it's going to use some Razor Leaf. Normal effectiveness here, down to 3/4 health. Raichu decides to respond to that with its Metronome. And this Raichu goes into a quick attack.
There's going to be a light hit from Raichu, not doing a whole lot of damage on Mr. Mime, as this Trick Room probably has about one more turn before it wears off.
Mr. Mime still with the speed advantage. Going for Lock On. The next move from Mr. Mime will hit.
Will it be a one-hit KO move?
Raichu going for its Metronome. Let's see what it does here, as Raichu goes for Safeguard. And the Twisted Dimensions do return back to normal here in the Coliseum. I feel a little better. Don't know why.
So with that distortion gone, Raichu will now be faster than Mr. Mime, and it will go in with a ring out.
And Mr. Mime taking for a ride there. Down to just under half health, as Mr. Mime's guaranteed hit move will be Ingrain.
Okay, so Mr. Mime will be getting some health back here, and with its stats up, it actually looks to pose a pretty significant threat here against the blue corner.
Here we go again now, with Raichu moving first. Very Smogon Cancer matchup here with Shadow Punch, and it doesn't affect Mr. Mime.
Thanks to it being a normal type now, that Shadow Punch actually does nothing instead of doing quite a bit.
Both corners' moves failed.
Muddy Water would have been a little bit better the previous turn there, having got the boost from the lock-on, but unfortunately it will miss this turn.
Here comes Raichu with another Metronome move. Let's see what it does here. Raichu is going to spring up in the air. Mr. Mime going for a Metronome. If this move attacks it, it's going to miss. Yes, it does. Zen Headbutt does nothing.
There were a few moves that Mr. Mime could have found that would have been able to hit Raichu, but unfortunately it did not find one of those.
The chances of that with a Metronome almost slim to none, but the impossible has happened here as Raichu uses Bounce.
Raichu coming in, trying to get a paralysis here on the Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime, not paralyzed, uses his Metronome, which will turn into Brave Bird.
So brave. Look at this Mr. Mime coming in.
Not very effective on the Raichu, and Mr. Mime is going to take a little bit of hit from that.
Mr. Mime goes down to about third health, but the Ingrain will restore some of that back.
This battle continues to rage on here. Both corners down by one Pokemon. As Raichu, again with the speed advantage, using its Metronome. Metronome will turn into Tailwind, giving it a slight boost in speed here.
I don't think that Tailwind's going to really be battering too much Raichu, and I believe Jynx were already faster than Mr. Mime. However, Mr. Mime could go down, and Electrode is incredibly fast.
Mr. Mime trying for a Hyper Beam there, but it missed. Very Smogon match continues here, as Raichu again goes for Metronome. Metronome will turn into Sludge Bomb, slimed by SpongeBob.
But Mr. Mime will hold on, so it will get to retaliate back at this Raichu.
And that Metronome will turn into Mud Sports, ironically weakening Electricity's power. Mr. Mime barely holding on here. Raichu wagging its finger, deciding on what move to use as it uses Ingrain. Oh,
so both Pokemon will be ingrained here, gaining health back over time, but one of them could faint here in the next few turns.
As Mr. Mime goes for Bide, it's gonna Bide now.
So it's really hard to say exactly what's going to happen with this Bide here. It's obviously going to come down to what moves Raichu's going to get off of these Metronomes.
Still lots of Metronome move left for Raichu, as Raichu decides what it's going to use here. Raichu goes for Underwater. It's going for the dive. What a Smogon match we have here.
So with that dive, actually... Oh, I was a turn off. This dive will hit into Mr. Mime, and if it holds on, yes it will. Bide will connect with the Raichu before it gets to make a move.
And it actually will do double damage here from what it took in.
Raichu, I'm sorry, I thought Bide had, I thought it would hit the next turn.
I think it's 2 turns with Bide, if I remember correctly, and I think that's what happened.
Oh, I guess, I don't know. I thought it had increased priority when it hit.
Here we go, Raichu's Metronome. That's going to turn into Arm Thrust. They're having an arm war, I guess. I can't
and with
think of the
Mr.
name of
Mime being a normal type, that's actually going to be super effective and will be enough to knock it out.
Arm War. Raichu gains a little bit of health back with its Ingrain, as the red corner sends out their final Pokemon. It's the Electrode. Electric versus electric type here in the Coliseum. No type advantage, but Metronome, it doesn't really matter, as Electrode will move first here.
That Tailwind petered out a few turns ago, and Electrode will be missing with its Bide here, so Raichu will get to hit back. Raichu
goes for Blizzard!
This could do a massive amount of damage here, potentially freezing Electrode, taking it down to about 50%, and there's the freeze!
Perfectly called here.
I'm sorry, it's the commentator curse. I need to shut my mouth.
The battle may be over for the red corner here if they can't pull off a move. Actually, turn 1 thaw out from Electrode. Goes for its Metronome.
So the freeze is not going to matter here, and Electrode will hit back with a Silver Wind, potentially getting a Rainbow boost.
No Rainbow boost there, as Raichu goes for its Metronome. Raichu's Metronome goes for a Power Swap. It effectively swapped 0 for 0. Raichu is down to just over 1/4 health. We'll see how it plays out here as Electrode goes for its Metronome. It goes for a U-turn here. It's going to do some light damage. Actually, some pretty good damage, but it doesn't have any other Pokemon to switch to.
Oh, and Raichu's static will paralyze Electrode, so Raichu and Jynx will be faster than Electrode for the remainder of the match.
Raichu goes for a Camouflage, which will turn it into the normal type, as Raichu gains a little bit of health back from its Ingrain.
So that's 2 different Pokemon here that we've had switch into normal types, but from 2 different means.
Raichu going for Metronome once again here. as it goes for a Thunder Wave, but it's already paralyzed. Electrode able to pull off a move here with Metronome, which turns into Rest. That's going to go to sleep now.
So with Electrode now asleep, it's actually cured of its paralysis and will be faster than them once more.
Will Raichu be able to knock out Electrode here before it wakes up in 2 turns? Here comes Electrode, but it's fast asleep here as Raichu goes for the Metronome, which turns into Shadow Claw.
And that'll connect for a decent chunk of damage, and Electrode is still asleep though, so it needs to be waking up pretty soon if it wants to get some moves off.
One more attack here by Raichu, and Electrode will wake up. As Raichu goes for Metronome again here, and which turns into Iron Head.
Not being very effective there on the electric type there, as Raichu gets a little bit more health back.
The battle has reached its final stage now. Electrode will wake up this turn using its Metronome. Here comes Electrode with Thunder!
And a huge hit connects into Raichu, knocking it out.
It's one-on-one here. It is still anyone's game. It is still Pokemon Battle Revolution. It is still the Courtyard Coliseum.
Electrode is a little bit behind, being down at half health, but anything can happen, and it can still restore its health at any time.
Electrode with the speed advantage will go for the Metronome first. Here we go with Water Sports. Fire's power was weakened here as Jynx will go for a Metronome of her own. Jynx is going to go for a Heal Block, as they were going to use
what I said
moves.
just a little bit ago. So Electrode will not be able to heal at all now, and I think actually Rest will fail if it tries to go for it.
If it even does go for it here, as Electrode goes for Metronome once again. It goes for a Horn Drill, however it missed.
No guard this time.
Jynx going for a Metronome as it tries for a Power Trick. Once again switching 0 for 0. Both corners still have not touched each other in terms of health, as Electrode goes for another Metronome, goes for a standard tackle, your standard one on all Pokemon here, a very light hit onto Jynx. Jynx goes for her Metronome, as that Metronome will turn into a Flamethrower.
So that Water Sport actually is going to matter here, and Electrode will be able to tank that pretty well.
Both corners still in a tough spot here. It's still anyone's game in the Coliseum. Electrode going for Meteor Mash.
So this is going to be hitting for super effective damage here on this Jynx. Maybe they can get an attack boost, and that was a massive amount of damage.
Jynx barely holding on, using her Metronome, and that's going to go for an Iron Defense, raising her defense by 2.
However, that might be a little bit too late. That Meteor Mash already hit in for a massive amount of damage, and Jynx is now down.
Electrode goes for a Metronome, which will turn into Dragon Rush. Oh, it holds on.
That Iron Defense will pay off this turn.
And Jynx actually got the flinch in. Still anyone's game, though Jynx is not looking too hot right now. Here comes Electrode with another Metronome, as Electrode goes for Mud Bomb. That's sure to be the end of the match here.
Wow, and with that final hit, Electrode will win the match. Pretty impressive comeback.
And that is the end of the battle. The red corner getting the 81% payout and the victory here. A very always interesting Metronome match, what we often see here at the top of the hour on Twitch Plays Pokemon.
That was pretty good as far as Metronome matches go.
Indeed, they always have a very interesting match feel to them, I should say. Get your inputs in. 2 tokens on the line here in the Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. Thank you again for watching Twitch Plays Pokemon on this Friday night. All 212 viewers of you. We appreciate you all. And I hope you're not having a seizure right now. It's kind of flashing on the screen.
Yeah, this is a little epileptic, but I think we'll be alright. Just shield your eyes, not like this.
And your 2 tokens go to Flarn and Mario Gamer 3.